Take a ball of clay the size of a small orange. Place it in the palm of your hand. The clay will feel cold against your hand. Take the thumb of your dominant hand and begin pressing it in the middle of the ball of clay. And as you do so, gently rotate the clay, and your other two fingers are pressing against the outside of the ball. This movement will allow you to create a depression in the middle of the clay. What we're aiming for is to get a wall that's about a centimeter thick. That's about that much. But we're not going to go fast. We're going to go slow because we're going to enjoy handling the clay, and we're going to make this a bit of a mindful activity for ourselves to calm ourselves down. This movement is teaching a lot to our brain, because as you handle the clay, you're beginning to learn and to understand what the material is doing. You will get a lot of information through your fingers. You will understand the variation in thickness in the different parts of your pinch pot, and you will work to make the pinch pot even so that the walls are all a similar thickness. We're going slow, and as we move the clay, you can see that some cracks begin to appear on the edge. So in order to keep the integrity of our vessel, we can smooth them back with our thumb or with the forefinger. And we continue. As the vessel gets bigger, you will find that all the fingers of your hand are engaging in pressing the walls. We continue to rotate the clay while we press the walls between the thumb and the inside of our first two fingers. And we're turning the clay constantly, gently squeezing, so that we can achieve the even thickness in the wall. So remember, we are aiming to have a wall that's about a centimeter thick. As we work, our tactile sense develops, and we will begin to see with our fingers. They will start telling us when the wall is slightly too thick or too thin. And our fingers, rather than our brain, will help us to keep the shape symmetrical. If you find that any cracks starts appearing in your vessel, you can always get a bit of water and smooth them down. You don't want to use a lot of water, because otherwise the clay will become too floppy. Some people have colder hands and some people have warmer hands. So the people who have warmer hands will find that their clay dries quicker. So using a bit of water on the edges to smooth it will help to keep the clay in the optimal condition for working. So these are small, mindful movements. You can also alternate hands if you feel like. You will find your own way, starting from the base of the instructions. You will always find your own way to work your clay. The important thing is that you enjoy what you're doing and you put attention to it. There is a lot of potential in making vessels, including mugs and plates, using this technique. And you don't need any tools or any machinery. And you can always make a beautiful plate or a bowl or a mug. But we start with this way of working. The longer you work the clay, it will eventually reach a point where it will be tired and you will need to let it rest. Generally speaking, that is after 45 minutes, but you might find that with smaller projects, the clay gets tired more quickly. So, for example, I think I quite like the shape, but I know that the walls are still a bit uneven, and I think that I would like to have it thinner, but I can feel that this vessel is getting a bit tired in my hands, so I'm going to just set it aside, and I have another ball of clay ready to start. So it's a good idea to have, when you're doing pinching, to have a few going on at the same time. So I'll take you through the instructions again, but I'll say fewer words, and let's see if we can all enjoy and concentrate on the actual material. Pressing the thumb in, turning the clay, pinching the walls. And remembering to breathe. Often when we're concentrating, we hold our breath. So we want to breathe. So it's pinching, smoothing, feeling the thickness between our fingers, and pressing more in certain areas where you can feel the thickness being bigger, and pressing less in the areas where it's thinner.